and welcome to this Mumbo Jumbo for May the 25th. Around then, it's the bank holiday weekend in the UK. It's early in the morning. I'm up just about, barely functioning. I thought I'd try and get another cheeky video in before the big event, the big Expo Day, which will be hitting us next weekend. Very exciting. If you're not excited about that, then I don't know, but you could watch our preview video with me and Jamie and Tony getting vaguely excited and confused about stuff. So that's out there. I may well be putting another one out. I don't know. Time allowing. And there you go. That's all of that. I think, really before we do anything else, let's jump forward straight away into what I've been playing. Played games. Right, whistle-stop tour of this, I feel. Ark Nova. So we play more of that with the expansion. I picked up the expansion. Lovely, very nice, sorted. I don't think there's more to say on that. I've said a lot about Ark Nova. You either love it or hate it, I guess. I really enjoy the mechanisms of it. I really enjoy the card selection, how all that works. It's a banger, in my opinion. And, you know, I'm late to the party on that. So there you go. There was that. We played a lot more of that. Been still enjoying that. I'm still not very good at it, but yeah. There we go. Ark Nova. Great Western Trail. Ben brought that around the other week, and we played that. I played that for a while. You know, I quite enjoy it. Great Western Trail is a game of lots of stuff actually. Move around the board, pointing locations down, give you abilities and stuff to get more bits. Basically, you're drafting cards to try and make sets of cows. Which you then trade in at the market at the top of the game and get points. And you just kind of rinse, repeat this little route. And you have a little train you ride up to get extra points. It's all about point optimization and generating an engine to get you all the stuff. And, you know, the stuff we've seen before. It's not doing anything wildly indifferent to most other kind of Euros. I thought this one's now come out in two differing versions, of which I have not played. I think there was the original Great Western Trail. There's an Argentinian one and a New Zealand one. Ben had played one of those. I think it was the New Zealand one. And he'd said, yeah. So we played the original one anyway. It's nothing I don't think I would own. I don't think it's solid. I think it's probably been surpassed by better Euros, maybe. But what it does and what its theme applies to, and if you like cows and if you like collecting cows and doing cow collecting stuff, well, fuck-arsing around on a cowboy map, then so be it. Bristol 1350, Ben bought. I quite enjoyed that. It's a player elimination game. It's a kind of like a distilled player elimination game in that essentially there's a bunch of you in carts that are moving across the map. There's 3 carts, and you have cards that are hidden to everyone else, which have numbers on them, which are basically your symptoms. If those symptoms amount to 6 or more, you've got the plague. And you've, through a variety of actions, is that you can kick people out of these carts, draw different cards, do other stuff. You can actually pick up cards, medicine cards, I'm going to say. It's not that, but that is what it is, that allow you to also do stuff, variety of things, from changing cards around to moving the carts and all that. The idea is essentially you roll dice, the carts are moving through. Depending on how many dice are rolled, you can manipulate them with cards and actions. And then depending on the colours of the dice matching the 3 carts, the carts move that distance. The idea is you want to be in the front cart to go over the finish line, ideally, with no one else with the plague in there with you. Ideally with you without the plague, and you win the game. Otherwise, if there's people with the plague in with you and all that sort of stuff, oh, horrible things. As I say, it's kind of like a distillation of like the Thing board game, but refined down really to like the core mechanisms of that. And plays quite a high number. It plays fast, it plays light. I quite enjoyed what it was doing. It's a bit fiddly because you've got little carts with little tiny little people you've got to put in it. But generally, I think if you're looking for that kind of hidden identity, player elimination, not so much player elimination, but hidden identity, you know, cross-contamination of players and that sort of vibe of stuff, and you want to fit something in about 30 minutes or less, it does hit the mark. I mean, it's quite well, I think it was a Kickstarter, and it is, one could argue, overly produced in what it's doing, but it looks aesthetically pleasing enough. I quite enjoyed it, and I quite liked it, as I say, as a very quick, down, fast and simple version of those other bigger games that we like. And it did quite a good job of diluting all that down. I use diluting a lot in that. But, you know, it's a big word. It sounded exciting. Last night we played Dinogenics, which was like the contender towards Dinosaur Island. I think of the two, actually, I think Dinogenics is the better game, but caveat that with the expansion. Having said all of that, I have not seen it available since, I think, the original Kickstarter campaign a good few years ago now. I don't think I've actually seen it go to retail. I don't think it ever was reprinted, which is a bit of a weird one. I may be wrong. I haven't checked my facts on that one, but I could. I've got a laptop here. I could type Dinogenics into it and see if I could buy a copy. Let's do that. That's, you know, so speak amongst yourselves, and I'll let you know, as you know, we need to know. Drum roll, please. It's not looking promising. No, it's not looking very promising at all. Oh, piss. I've gone back too many times. My brief look on that is telling me that there's going to have to be an edit in this video. Short answer to that is no, other than outside of eBay, which you're going to pay a lot of money for. So I'm correct in my presumption that it isn't available, which is weird. I suppose it's a few years old, but as I say, it is similar to those dinosaur ones that came out around the time. You are building your park, you're collecting dinosaurs through like a set collection thing that you get sets of them depending on how many cards you need of each set of those, and then you play them out into your park, score points, score acclaim. Every round you get visitors into your park for the amount of acclaim that your park has got, or whatever, prestige, or whatever the fuck it is. Score money and points off of that, yada yada yada, rinse repeat. Yeah, I quite enjoy it, and I think I have Dinosaur Island and I have the expansion. I found the base game of Dinosaur Island is okay, and the expansion added lots of modules, actually just turned it all very fiddly. But it was okay. I quite enjoyed it. I haven't played it for a while. I like the big dice. It's aesthetically cool. I don't know. It's just I thought Dinogenics was the better of the two. It's faster and looser, but as I say, caveat that the base game is quite sort of basic in schemes. It lacks some teeth, and I think the expansion adds marine animals and adds just a little bit more spice to the proceedings and makes it a bit more playable, replayable, and a bit more tactics to it. I quite enjoy it. I know it was really hot at one point. It's a solid game. It's out of print. It's not easy to get. It's going to cost you hundreds of dollars to track it down. So probably don't sweat the big shit on that. But yes, if you see it cheap and cheerful and you like dinosaurs and you want something like that, then I'm sure it's great. I quite enjoyed it. I don't own it. I'm likely I'm going to be. And that is stuff we've played. Mostly. Played just one and some other stuff, but that's irrelevant because I'm not going to talk about it. So should we do some news? Here is the news. News. What can we say? Well, Mythic Games is back in the news section. They have infamously, I don't even know where to start with Mythic really. They have got a little bit of a flurry of knittering amongst the board game glitterati. They sent an email out, I think a week or two ago, number one to a bunch of reviewers, of which I did not receive a copy. A shocking turn of events. But they sent it out to a bunch of reviewers, actually made all of the people they sent it to, they didn't blind copy them in, so that you could see everyone that had been sent that, which was interesting. And basically the email said, "Hello, we're Mythic Games and we've got Rainbow Six and we'd really like you to review it. You can have it for free. Oh yeah, we're quite shit at being a company and, you know, maybe you can hold us accountable for that or not. But hey, look, free stuff. Review our game. Yay. Distance ourselves, the creators from the event, all that sort of stuff. You know, don't blame the artists. Stuff." So, I mean, here we are in a shocking turn of events from when we look back from their original statements that I'm not going to bother digging it up now, but I'm 99.9% certain. And that was argued ad nauseum by some zealots who were all behind the Mythic thing, that Mythic were only printing just the games that people that paid the ransom for. There would be no more printing of games. And a shocking, absolutely blistering U-turn of skidded rubber and cardboard They, of course, have done exactly the opposite of that, which I pretty much remember saying in my last video on Mythic, was saying, of course they're going to print more. Are you fucking insane? And they did. So despite all the bullshit of that, we're not going to have enough money. Only those who play the ransom will get their game. We won't have any excess of this. We won't be this. We won't be able to sell any more. Well, they have got more. And they've got enough for starters that they can hand them out to how many wherever board gamers were on this list, which I imagine it was probably significant. And they're selling some from direct from Mythic games on a web store. So, and I mean, I'm astounded. At this point in time, I mean, I don't know if people review this, then fine. If you're going to do that, I don't know what's in it for you. I understand the argument that the artists, the designers, all behind this weren't responsible for Mythic's shit show of a decision, but that's unfortunate collateral damage, I think, at this point. And no one could have helped that, and whatever. I mean, ultimately, I wouldn't give them any airtime to review their games, because number one, there's a paywall behind you getting that. Number two, the amount of, as I say, collateral damage of people, and who knows at this point how many thousands, and I imagine it is thousands, of backers that never got the product even though they paid for it because they didn't want to pay the ransom. And Mythic are kind of a little bit like political parties, kind of blundering forward with their own kind of rhetoric on this one, and yeah, some gaslighting involved. There's a general sort of denial of basic facts that they are a bunch of shower of shit. So there we go. Mythic Games still mythicking out there. At this point, if you support that, I don't know what to say to you, really. You're fucking insane. And then some people have been selling their copies, which actually I've not seen them going for that mass amount of money that I can see. I expected them to be the aftermarket market be going for more, but maybe just there isn't the appetite for it. I don't fucking know. I don't know if the game's any good. I will never know if the game is good or not, aside from if I see someone saying, oh, the game is good, which then leads me to a point of, can you trust what people are going to say? Because clearly if someone has invested basically double the amount of money into this game, they're hardly going to turn around and say, oh, this is the biggest pile of shit ever, when they've just spent a mortgage on it to get it. So I think there is no easy way of seeing a clear answer to that, other than, what a shit show. So there you go. If you're caught up in the Mythic shit show, then again, as always, I'm sorry that you were. It is rubbish. I mean, they've still got something else coming, I think, so there's still more pain to come, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the final cap on that. Yes, they delivered at a price, and they basically went back on every promise they made, and they lied throughout the whole thing, and they've continued to lie. It's kind of a bit like just shit, really, isn't it? Stonemaier Games have announced an expansion to Expeditions, the game of Big Mechs, the side crawl. That game, Ben had it, I've played it, it was okay. I initially quite enjoyed it the first couple of plays because it uses multi-use cards and all this sort of stuff, but after a couple of plays of it, I kind of personally found it a bit lacking of something. It just seemed to be missing something that gave it a little bit more teeth, a bit more and I thought, well, maybe an expansion will do that. So I haven't done my homework, as I say, on this because I meant to and then forgot. So we're going to quickly have a look at the sales sheet for this and see what actually this contains. So Expeditions Gears of Corruption. It's the first expansion of Expeditions. That tells you a lot more if you haven't thought about it. There's clearly more to come. So what do we got? There's 6 starting resource cards now. So it looks like there's something set in place to kind of, like Prelude does, to kind of give you a little bit as a kind of kickstart, maybe in the right direction. That appears to be all it has there. The move through the region of 2 new mechs. So there's 2 mechs with dual boards. Okay, so some different abilities. Embark on an adventure with 4 new characters and companion pairings. So more cards for that. Explore with a new element of surprise via a new set of map tokens, each with an unknown benefit when revealed. Well, I think the other ones kind of had that, but hey. Contend with an antagonistic force via the optional corrupted mech module that roams the region where you attempt to vanquish it. So there's like some sort of everyone v everything else thing, and more solo stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to retail for probably silly money. I mean, I don't think it says. No, I don't think there's a price on it yet. Personally, that doesn't exactly blow my socks off. I did say when I originally played it and was talking about the game that I felt it needed some teeth, needed something in there to give it just a little bit of a zhoosh. Whether this is it, it doesn't feel like it, but who knows. I imagine that Ben will pick this up, so I'll be able to see it at some point, and we'll see. Expeditions is not one personally that I'm in any rush to pick up. As I say, I quite enjoyed my first few plays of it. It was all right. I quite like the multi-card use, as I said. It's luck dependent to a certain degree. I just felt that there was taking away all the bling and all the polish and all the accoutrements of all the stoneware stuff. Yeah, ultimately, I don't think there was anything terribly innovative, thrilling, or exciting going on in that game. It took my interest when I played it the first time. I enjoyed it vaguely the second time. I haven't felt the appetite I need to go back subsequent to that. But there you go. If that's your thing, if you Scythe, I mean, sure, all the Scythe fans have sorely gone for it. But there you go. Expeditions. An expansion, if you wanted that. Now, most excitingly, I did say I would report back on this, and with all the fanfare of a wet fart in a thunderstorm, the Golden Geeks, 18 Golden Geeks Awards for 2023, blah, 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 the actual results are in. So, I ran very briefly through this a little while ago. I don't even know how... Is this relevant anymore? I can feel a belch brewing. That's the most exciting thing. There we go. So, two-player games. The winner was Sky Team. Never played it, so I really don't have any more skin in the game on that, really. And I don't play many two-player games because I don't often end up with just me and myself and my someone else in here. Words failing me. Anyway, that was a thing that happened. Artwork and presentation. The winner were Castles of Burgundy Special Edition. The runner-ups were Earth and Voidfall. Burgundy looked kind of cool. I mean, looked excessive on the most recent GameFound version with giant plastic castles and stuff. But hey, and Earth and Voidfall I've seen from far and they look kind of cool. But yeah, I can't remember what I said I was going to even say for that. But there we go. Cooperative game. Sky Team won again. Which I know is to do with planes and you working together to land a plane or do something with a plane. Lovely. One of us were Earthborn Rangers, which I did myself personally tipped as might get in there somewhere, and Sleeping Gods Distant Skies, which is expansion to Sleeping Gods from Red Raven Games, I believe. The expansion, the winner is Ark Nova Marine Worlds. I've played that. I have that. I do agree that actually, as expansions go, is kind of essential. If you like Ark Nova, it brings in these variable cards for the action selection cards, as well as marine and other stuff in there, and some nicer meeples. But those cards, that draft of those asynchronous powered cards, a big woof into that, and I would stand by that. For me personally, that is a cracking expansion. Not overly expensive if you shop around a bit, and it does do a big change to that game. It really adds a lot of meat to it in a fairly small package. So I would absolutely be behind that. The runner-ups were Lost Ruins of Arnik, The Missing Expedition. I have not played other than the base game of Arnik. I kind of, when that came out at the same time as June Imperium, I was like, these are kind of very similar games. I'm all doubling down in for June. I have played Arnik. I thought it was okay. I've not gone back to it, and I'm surprised that no one I know has picked it up. But there you go. That's that. But yeah, I know it has a lot of fans. But that was obviously clearly a nice expansion, apparently. Cascadia Landmarks. No fucking idea. So there we go. There are the three of them. Innovative. The winner was Hegemony, Collegiate Class to Victory. Not played. I've seen from afar. I understand what it's about. I haven't played it. I don't know whether it's one I'd either ultimately play and really fucking enjoy because of the theme and that on it, I feel. But whether that will ever come to pass, I don't know. It's one that I'm a little surprised that Ben's not actually picked up, because it does, from what I've seen of it, look to be entirely up in his grill as his thing that he'd quite like. Runner-up was Sky Team, and the runner-up to that was Earthborn Rangers, which I thought Earthborn Rangers would do better than that. And there we go. The light game of the year, Thunder Road Vendetta. Yes! To Valhalla, War Boys, and all that sort of stuff. Sharp and Sit Down have just put out a review of Thunder Road, so good fucking luck getting a copy of that now. I really enjoyed it. Tony owns it. He's the Kickstarter for it. It is ridiculous. It is random. It is very fast. It is very loose. It is essentially Fury Road, the board game. It is, if you want the card combat, random fucking shit going on. light, easy, then it does all of that shit. And they did recently do an expansion, which I don't know if Tony backed, actually. But the base game is fantastic. My only thing to that is it's quite expensive for all of what is in there, but it is a big box. It has got a lot of bling, and it all looks kind of cool. I don't know. The thing is, you kind of have, is this was originally a mass market game. They have absolutely, obviously, tweaked it to the extent of anything they could ever tweak it, blinged it to blinginess. But you kind of go, as a 25 quid, rah, throw it on the table, throw some dice and amazing shit would happen. Brilliant. As £120, that's the only problem you have there, really, because it's really quite expensive for it. But it is really good. I can't say it's not really good. I really enjoyed it. If it was more reasonably priced, I might pick it up. I hear the retail version has got a lot of all the guts kind of kicked out of it in the cut down version, because it hasn't just got any really of the expansion-y bits. It's a shame that it isn't available at a cheaper, more mass markety produced version for just the masses to enjoy, because it is a great game and it is really fun, it is really fast, it is really loose, and would work really well with families as well as gamers. But that's my only thing I'd say with regards to that. Maybe, I don't know, well, who knows. But yes, I agree, Thunder Road Vendetta is absolute cracker, and if you have the money and the time, I can recommend that entirely, which does make me want to dig up my copy of Dark Future that's up there, which is the Games Workshop Mad Max kind of ball game, which is amazing, but just ridiculous to learn to play. Runner-up was Narcon. I had no idea. Not a fucking clue. And the runner-up was Far Away, which is Hatchet Board Games will have in limited quantities at this year's Games Expo with special limited edition meeples, I believe. Nice. So that was the light game of the year, and we go into the medium game of the year. The winner was Earth, a game I've not played. I think it's kind of a Terraforming Marzi type card collection, set collection, doing stuff, tableau builder thing, I think. Or I'm entirely wrong. I don't know. I've never played it. I've kind of briefly glanced at it, but that's kind of the extent of it. Sounds kind of cool. Castles of Burgundy, special edition, okay. And the one was White Castle. I've not played any of them. White Castle I hear things about. Again, how many games you need? I've reached the point to a certain extent of I don't need more games. So they've got to be good. Heavy game of the year's Hegemony wins that. Follow-up was Dune Imperium Uprising. Nice to that. I do enjoy Dune Imperium Uprising, and I do agree, in comparison to the base original game, it is a lot heavier. There was a lot more meat going on in that game, and I think I kind of like that. But I do still like the base game with all the expansions, so hey, what are you going to do? But yes, for me, I really enjoyed Dune Imperium Uprising, and I thought it did a big difference. It did a big difference. It was more than just kind of a side crawl to the base game. It's like a 2.0. It does actually innovate a lot more than I thought it did at first glance. And I was originally one of those who went, do you need that if you've got the base game? Ideally, I could argue no, you don't. However, if you played a lot of it, it's like the more advanced version of that. I don't think that works so well for first timers. They're probably better with the base game. But I really quite enjoy that. And it does play 6 players at some point, which I may get to do. So there we go. Runner-ups. Oh no, and then Darwin's Journey. So there we go. Party game. It's gone past because I clicked the button too fast. Oh God, where the fuck? That's not a hat. Probably not. Dixit Disney Edition and Nekojima. I don't know any of those games. I don't play much party stuff. There we go. Print to play. I'm not even going to bother. Solo! I'm not even going to bother. It's not for me. If you like that thing, you're probably not watching this because I'm not a solo player anyway. So if you are. Thematic game. Hegemony, Legion Class to Victory. I will look at it because I like what the theme of that is. And it's a meatier one. I will look at it. Run-up Sky Team. Run-up Dune Imperium. I suppose Dune Imperium is kind of thematic, and you have big plastic sandworms that look like dicks. So, War Game, Undaunted Battle of Britain, which I have played. Ben has a copy of that, and I played a couple of times. I quite like what that's doing. They are 2-player games, so again, it kind of cuts me out of the loop on that one. Best podcast, I don't listen to board game podcasts anymore. One Stop Co-op Shop. Well done to you. Best board game app, Unmatched Digital Edition. I haven't played that. I had it on my Steam list, but I've not actually played it. Twilight Struggle, Red Sea, and Fleet the Dice Game. I've not played any of those. But Unmatched is on my... there you go. So that is the Golden Geek Awards 2023. For any of you that felt the need to know about that. Right, that's it. What else have I been doing? I've been watching or doing anything? No, not really. I have, but I can't remember what. I've been reading lots of books. I've been reading Carrie, and I've been reading some other bits because I picked up Carrie cheap. I've not ever read it. Stephen King's very first novel. Quite interesting to read it, to see how he's evolved. But it's still, I could read, actually, considering I know that story and it's an old book. Very good. Thank you, Mr. King, as always. I've got the Five Nights at Freddy's board game of something, Night of Frights game. Me and Isaac are going to be playing that later. Very excited about that. He is. And that's kind of it. I do want to go and see Furiosa. But mainly now I need to get my shit together because the expo is coming. It's tunneling towards us now like a big graboid that's going to chomp us up. Yum, 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 yum. It's early in the morning. I'm a bit tired. This is a video. I hope it's been informative. If you're at the expo, I will see you. I'm sure. I will try and be polite. I still feel bad about the poor man that come up to me last year when I was standing trying to fight over not having my press passes, and he was trying to say nice things to me, and I was just there being furious I was. And I remember going, hello, and I'm not always quite that angry all the time. Unless I'm playing board games, then I am known to be an absolute tit. But I wasn't that time. So again, I apologise to a nice man who came and said hello to me when I was being grumpy at the expo stuff. They have conferred my expo press passes this year, although I'm trying to get another one for Charlie because he's coming along. So I should be cheerier. And that's it. So yeah, we'll be there. I'll be looking at what I can. I'll be sniffing around the edges. If there is anything you want to look at and you're not going and you'd like to know more, then shout. I know that Mark Cook has just in the last couple of days announced that he's got a couple of small card games available there that they picked up at the Japanese game market, Tokyo Game Market. One of them sumo and something about tequila drinking dinosaurs, but they are going to be limited quantities. I will have a look. Not for me, because I think one's a two-player game that I have said I would pick a copy up for a Ben. Not that Ben, another Ben. And that's it, I think, really. I'm going to just otherwise continue to ramble, which is not doing any of us any favours, so I'll stop that now. Hopefully this comes out before the expo. If it doesn't, it probably won't come out at all. If you're there, I'll see you there. If you're not, I won't. Let me know if there's anything you do want to see in the comments, and I will try and find it at the show and film it, or look at it, or dribble a little on it, lick it. Taste it. Steal it. No, I won't do that. Have a lovely one. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.